soon-to-be-open congressional seat spoke in Marion County, Missouri. Good evening, I'm Zeke Shapiro. This afternoon, the 5 Republican candidates for the Missouri U.S. District 6 House seat were in Palmyra for a candidates forum. Current Senator Sam Graves has elected to retire. I attended the forum today to hear from the candidates about their campaigns and their plans if elected. The candidates running for the Republican nomination in August's primaries are Nathan Willett, Cody Oschel, Jim Ingram, Nathaniel Schultz, and Chris Stigall. Nathan Willett is currently a Kansas City council person. He stressed continuing deportations of illegal immigrants and what he called a better use of tax dollars as major points of importance for his campaign.
We need to make sure that we are not funding some East Coast, West Coast projects. We've got to shrink our deficit, and it's time for the next generation to step up and lead.
Cody Oschel from Maryville works in strategic growth partnerships and brand activation for a finance company. He tells me improving rural health care is at the top of his list of priorities if he's elected.
Rural health care is going away in this area, so being able to ensure that it remains around for the future so that generations are able to have access to care close to home, that's really important to me.
Jim Ingram is a small business owner based out of Liberty, Missouri. He said if elected, he wants to create term limits for congressmen and to create a balanced budget amendment.
You need to have regular terms like we have in Missouri. We have an 8-year max and then you have to get out. Balanced budget. Republicans and Democrats are both spending way too much money, and our kids and our grandkids are going to be paying that off.
Nathaniel Schultz, an entrepreneur and farmer from Pike County, Missouri, said increased oversight was the most important part of his campaign. He explained he wanted more information on the government going to citizens.
We've got a lot of federal money going into data centers and other infrastructure, our post office. I want to provide oversight and bring answers back to the people who elect me.
The final candidate is Chris Stigall. He is a former conservative radio talk show host. He's also the only one of the 5 Republican candidates to be endorsed by the retiring Congressman Sam Graves. He said his experience in media and communications would be beneficial for the area if he was elected.
Knowing all of those things and knowing how to communicate them, convey them every day, unimpressed with Washington, unintimidated by media and other politicians, I think I can step forward in 2026 and best represent the citizens of North Missouri.
The primary elections are on August 4th.